Hi, good morning. So Lucian Henderson, Power Nail Art, and happy Sunday morning. I'm still waking up. I don't really look real good, but we were having a great conversation, and Janine here and I are going to do some nails today. We're having a great conversation, and I'm like, well, why don't we just go ahead and film this? So, where were we, Janine?
We were at the questions
Uh huh.
at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. So, like, what is it? Okay, so it's a film, and I made it especially for nails. So it's a vinyl, but it's dramatically different than the other vinyls that were sold or are sold right now. In that it's specific for nails. Okay, so it works with the other nail mediums. It's very thin. It's very stretchy. I was just looking for a material that had a lot more creative possibilities. Okay. So it's only one layer thick as opposed to two layers thick. All the other vinyls that are out there are like it's a self-adhesive, an adhesive layer, and then there's a clear or colored or opaque layer of vinyl film, and then there's the ink in whatever. And then there's another layer of clear vinyl film that protects the ink. So it's effectively 4 layers thick. Whereas this is only 3 layers thick. It's adhesive and ink and film. That simple. And then the film itself especially, and so it's got a great stretch to it, and it doesn't distort. And then the adhesive was special too, so it was tough to make. But then it just opens up the creative possibilities of using a vinyl film.
Okay. Why did you make it?
Because I couldn't find anything else out there that worked. It was like the way to apply all the other materials were effectively workarounds to get it to work for a nail. Since it wasn't designed to work for a nail, application methods, skill sets to apply it were kind of challenging. And so it was difficult for a lot of people to apply it.
How did you use it?
Any way you want. So it'll work as a full wrap on a natural nail, like all your other vinyls will work. But because it's so thin and so stretchy, it lays down a lot better. It'll wrap on a higher curve and a higher arch nail, things like that. And I did make a template so that you could cut it if you wanted to cut it before you laid it down.
Okay.
And then, but then of course, no matter how many shapes somebody else cut it into, or you were to cut it into, there's just no way, because there's an infinite number of nail sizes and shapes and lengths and all that stuff. So you could just take a piece and wrap it around the nail, and then trim around side walls and lateral folds, and file excess off a free edge. But then also, because it's a really soft material, so the adhesive is great because it'll stick to everything. It'll stick to a natural nail, it'll stick to an acrylic, it'll stick to a gel, it'll stick to a polish, it'll stick to a gel polish. So that's handled. Then the other thing is, what can you put on top of it? So since it's a real soft material, then all those mediums will stick to it. So you could do structure, say, build an acrylic nail enhancement, and then you could lay down and power on it, and then maybe come back and do some paint work on top of it. That is, using power as a background, if you will, or then reverse that. It'll go under, over, in all your other mediums. So you can stack up and layer however you want. You could use Empower at the beginning, you could use Empower at the end. You could do polish under it, polish over it, gel top coats, go ahead and do your structure with acrylic, come back with polish, come back with a little bit of Empower, and then come back with a gel to clarify and seal it all. You can embed, encase, enhance, anything in that manner. It truly is a fifth medium.
Okay, and how do you design with it?
And that requires some creative thinking. So like if so like I could use it as striping tape, for instance, which is one of the ways you can design with it, which is really easy. But then striping tape, you know, is a thick material, and it lifts up a lot, and it's just challenging for a lot of nail techs to use it. But this stuff is so thin and sticky, then it just works well. And then of course you're not stuck to a given size width. You can go ahead and take whatever width you want. So now I've got striping tape, which I can design with. And I just take pieces of it and go ahead and lay it down as I would a striping tape. And boom, there I got my striping tape. And then a lot of people do color blocking with paints, polishes and gel polishes. But then with this material, I've got instant color blocking, if you will. I don't have to do any masking. I just cut whatever shape I want and lay it down. A lot of people will do French tips. And on a French tip, and here I got a French tip ombre.
Yeah.
Just impossibly fast and easy. I can come back, and a lot of people do moons. And there's my moon. A lot of people do shattered glass, or what they're calling shattered glass looks, and that's effectively so like color blocking, striping tape, tips, moons, and then abstracts, of course. But a lot of people do shattered glass nails, and effectively that's just another shape. Or a variety of shapes that people are laying on nails using cellophane, typically, things like that. I can just keep going on and on with that. I've got punches, craft scissors, things like that. And of course I've got that. And then when you're done, often people think you used paint, but you didn't, especially if you're using some of the fades. Taking sections out that are just the straight color, like purple, things like that. And then whereas people will do, like maybe they'll take, they want to mask out because they want really clean straight lines, and they'll lay down a polish over the entire nail. And then maybe after they've painted the entire nail, they want to come back and paint a nice clean, say, triangle, for instance, or some other geometric shape. And then what they'll do to get clean lines is they'll mask it. And of course, Empower does work great for masking. There's a bunch of YouTube videos using Empower as for masking. But then, rather than mask and paint and then peel off the masking to get those clean lines, I've got them automatically. And at some level, it's kind of thinking outside the box when you go to design with Empower. So whereas somebody might paint a white eye shape and then come back and paint a black circle in the middle of it, and now they've got an eye. I'll take like the white out of the pink and white film, cut that in an eye shape, lay that down, take a regular size 1/4 inch hole punch a black circle, peel that off and stick it down. And then often again, people will look at it and think that I use paints, and they'll wonder how I got such clean, straight, perfect lines. And it's because I cheated. And the material's so thin that you can do layer upon layer upon layer. Or for a lot of nail artists, of course, they're really great and they can paint a circle faster than I can, and it's great and clean and perfect, and more power to them. Sometimes they use my material anyway because it's a little bit quicker, and maybe they want to pre-cut, things like that, so it's faster in the chair, and they're not doing dry time, even if they're using a gel polish. You got to do it, come back in and cure it, come back out. It's faster just to punch a circle, bang, lay it down where you want to.
Great.
Anything else? Did I cover that?
No, that's it.
All right. Thanks.
Thank
Hope
you
it was
so
helpful.
much.